Hey man, I know this sounds cold when you first hear it. Like you're supposed to play games, like you're supposed to ignore her or treat her like she doesn't matter. But that's not what this is about. This is about dynamics. The invisible mechanics of attraction and respect that most men never learn because they're too busy doing what they think should work. Here's the truth that's going to reshape everything you understand about women. When you make a woman your number one priority, when she can feel that your entire existence revolves around her presence, she doesn't feel loved, she doesn't feel safe, she doesn't feel cherished, she feels smothered, and it violates something fundamental about how attraction works. Women respect a man whose life is already full, whose mission is larger than any relationship, whose emotional center is not for sale to the highest bidder. When she senses that you've placed her at the center of your universe, something strange happens. What you intended as love, she experiences as burden. What you meant as devotion, she reads as emptiness. It's wild, right? You think being constantly available, emotionally present, always reassuring her, that's what creates security. That's what makes her feel valued. But it does the exact opposite, because deep down, she doesn't want a man who leans. She wants a man who leads. She wants to orbit your world, not become the sun in your sky. And the moment you start treating her like she's your everything, she starts wondering why you have nothing else. That's when the respect dies. Not because you were weak in the traditional sense, but because you placed her above your purpose. And that single shift changes everything. Let me show you exactly why this happens and what you need to do instead. This is where most men lose the game without even knowing they're playing. They finally meet a woman they genuinely like, someone who excites them, someone who feels different from the rest. And instead of continuing to build themselves, they pivot entirely. Every decision becomes about her. Every spare hour is spent thinking about her. Their calendar reshapes around her availability. Their ambitions quietly shrink to make room for her comfort. And gradually, so slowly they don't even notice, they lose the very edge that attracted her in the first place. The ambition, the focus, the drive, the mystique, all of it gets sacrificed on the altar of comfort. And what does she do in response? She pulls away. Not because she's ungrateful, not because she doesn't appreciate what you've given up, but because you stopped being the man who challenged her. You stopped being the man she had to rise to meet. You became predictable, safe, fully acquired, and her attraction can't survive being fully acquired. Let me be clear about something. This isn't about being emotionally distant. It isn't about treating her poorly or making her feel unimportant. It's about maintaining your center. It's about having a mission, a craft, a vision for your life so powerful that even love can't shake it. Something that grounds you so deeply that her moods, her tests, her presence or absence doesn't throw you off course. When she sees that you're not bending over backward for her validation, something shifts inside her. Something clicks. Not consciously, deeper than that, in the part of her that responds to masculine energy. She may get frustrated, she may push back, she may test you harder than before, but underneath all of that, she respects you. Because women don't admire men who worship them. They admire men who are too busy building their kingdom to kneel at anyone's feet. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. That's a man who knows who he is regardless of who's watching. Here's a paradox that will transform how you approach relationships. The more you try to prove your love, the less attractive you become. Not because love is unattractive, but because love in her world isn't proven through sacrifice. It's felt through energy. If your energy screams a "you're my everything," what she actually hears is "I have no direction." She feels the emptiness behind the devotion. She senses that without her, you'd be lost. But when your energy says, "You're important to me, but my purpose comes first," something entirely different happens. She feels safe in your strength. She knows that if she left tomorrow, you wouldn't collapse. Your world would keep spinning. Your mission would continue. Your identity would remain intact. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want to stay. Because she's not attracted to a man who needs her. She's attracted to a man who's whole without her, but chooses to have her in his life. That distinction changes everything about how she experiences you. Think about the men women truly obsess over, the ones they can't stop thinking about, the ones who create that gravitational pull. They're not the ones texting good morning every single day. They're not the ones constantly checking in, seeking reassurance, making sure she knows how much they care. They're present but not desperate, loving but not obsessed, available but not dependent. They have a life that keeps moving forward whether she's there or not, and because of that, she works to earn her place in it. That's the secret most men miss entirely. Her respect isn't tied to how loved she feels, it's tied to how replaceable she feels. That sounds harsh, it sounds unfair, but it's reality. Women don't fall for the man who puts them on a pedestal. They fall for the man who's building something greater and invites them along for the ride. When she sees that you're not canceling your goals for date nights, when she watches you maintain your gym routine, your business grind, your personal discipline, she starts viewing you differently. You become the rare man who doesn't need her but chooses her, and that makes all the difference in how she shows up for you. Now, if what I'm saying is starting to make sense, if you're recognizing patterns from your own experience, stay with me, because what I'm about to share next goes even deeper. I'm going to show you exactly how she'll test this dynamic, why most men fail these tests without realizing it, and what happens in her mind when you finally hold your ground. This next part is critical to understand. She'll test this, I promise you. She'll test it, and she'll test it hard. She'll say things like, "You don't make me feel like a priority." She'll complain that you care more about your work than her. She'll create situations designed to see if you'll abandon your path to soothe her feelings. And if you cave, if you start skipping your purpose to cater to her emotional demands, you lose her. Not immediately. That's what makes it so dangerous. You lose her slowly, subtly, one compromise at a time, because now she knows she can pull you off your path. Now she's proven that her emotions can move you, that her chaos can shake your foundation. And once she knows that, she stops seeing you as the rock. She starts seeing you as another boy looking for her approval. The respect doesn't die in a dramatic explosion. It dies in the quiet accumulation of moments when you folded instead of held. Here's what she actually wants, and what she'll rarely tell you directly. She wants a man who listens but doesn't bend, who hears her emotions but isn't enslaved by them, who can hold space for her chaos without giving up his crown. That's the masculine energy she craves but rarely finds in modern men. Not cold, composed, not detached, disciplined. When you show up like that, something remarkable happens. She softens, she surrenders, not from weakness, but because your strength gives her permission to let go. She's been waiting for a man who won't break just because she raised her voice, who won't collapse just because she pulled away, who won't abandon himself just because she threatened to leave. And when she finally finds that man, she doesn't want to lose him. Masculine energy operates like a lighthouse. It doesn't chase storms. It doesn't sway with every wind that blows. It doesn't panic when the weather turns dark. It just stands there, steady, unmoved, a fixed point in the chaos, and that's why it's respected. You're calm in the face of her storms. You're focused when everything around you shifts. You're disciplined when comfort would be easier. That makes her feel something she can't even articulate. Safe, held, challenged, alive. But the second she becomes your reason for being, the moment your entire emotional stability depends on her presence, that masculine energy flickers. Now you're seeking direction in her instead of from within yourself. And that's the beginning of the end. Not because she doesn't care about you, but because she can't lead where she was built to follow. There's a sacred line in every man's life that most never learn to see. The line between giving love and losing yourself, between honoring her needs and abandoning your mission, between making room for her and making her the room itself. Cross that line too often and you become resentful. You start blaming her for your stagnation, for the dreams you gave up, for the man you stopped becoming. But here's the truth you need to accept. She never asked you to shrink. She just reacted to the energy shift you created when you abandoned your frame, when you made her the center instead of a cherished part of a greater whole. And now you're both stuck. She's disinterested and you're confused, wondering why doing everything right ended with you feeling so wrong. What I'm about to share next is where everything comes together, because understanding these dynamics intellectually is one thing, but I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you embody them. The next section reveals why most Relationships actually fall apart, what she'll never tell you out loud, and the one truth that separates men who keep her respect from men who lose it forever. This is the part that changes everything. Women want to be claimed, not coddled. When you show up with genuine purpose, when she can feel that she's not the main character in your life story, but an honored guest in your world, that ignites something in her. She starts to lean in differently. She respects your time because she sees you respect it. She respects your grind because she watches you commit to it. And most importantly, she starts trying to earn you, not just keep you, earn you. Because now you're not a man she owns, you're a man she admires, and admiration is the foundation desire is built on. The harsh truth is that most relationships don't fall apart because of cheating or major conflicts. They fall apart because the man gave away his polarity. He became too soft, too available, too invested in making her happy at the expense of his own center. He thought that proving his devotion meant sacrificing his edge, and the cost of that sacrifice was her desire. She can't tell you why she feels distant. She can't articulate what changed. She'll just say, "I don't feel the same anymore," or "something's missing," and you'll replay all your sacrifices in your mind, all the times you put her first, all the ways you tried to make her feel loved, wondering where it all went wrong. But the answer was simple. You stopped being the man she respected, and respect is the foundation attraction needs to survive. There's a specific man that women dream about but rarely describe accurately. He's the one who listens but doesn't need her approval, who loves her deeply but never at the expense of his path. He doesn't drop everything for a phone call. He doesn't rearrange his schedule based on her moods. He's kind but firm, caring but immovable, and that subtle tension, that unspoken reality that he could leave at any moment and still be whole, that's what keeps her feminine energy fully engaged. Not because she enjoys insecurity, but because she needs to feel the polarity. She needs to sense that you're a man who can't be controlled by her emotions. That's what creates desire that doesn't fade. Some men hear this and think, "So I need to play hard to get." No, brother. This isn't about pretending anything. This is about being, actually being, so full of purpose, so aligned with your values, so committed to your own growth that her presence in your life becomes a bonus, not a necessity. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. When she feels that you're genuinely whole without her, that your life has meaning and direction regardless of her presence, it triggers something primal, a deep desire not to be your world, but to be part of your world. That distinction is everything. There's a reason calm, grounded men are magnetic to women. Stoicism isn't cold, it signals control, and control translates to safety in her nervous system. Emotional chaos doesn't scare her. That's her native language. She lives in emotion. She swims in those waters every day. But when you respond to her chaos with grounded calm, when her storms don't move you an inch, you become something rare, an anchor in a world that constantly changes. She doesn't want to lead the relationship. She does it only when you stop, when you default, when you hand her the wheel because you're afraid to make decisions. But when you lead quietly, confidently, consistently, she relaxes, she trusts, she follows. Not because she's weak, because your strength gives her permission to be feminine. A woman can fall in love with your charm, your looks, your words, but she only truly respects the man who's willing to walk away. That's the test most men fail. They think love is proven through endurance, through staying no matter what, through weathering every storm she creates. But sometimes love is proven through absence, through silence, through the willingness to say, "If you can't meet me here, I'll go alone." That kind of strength doesn't repel her, it draws her in, because it shows her something most men never demonstrate. You're not afraid to lose her, and that makes you the one worth not losing. The men who consistently keep women's respect long-term understand something instinctively. When you live with genuine purpose, when you move through the world with real intention, you don't need to make her your everything. You already are everything. Your mission, your discipline, your inner peace, those are your core. If she aligns with that, beautiful, welcome aboard. If she doesn't, no hate, no drama, just distance. And that distance teaches her more than any conversation ever could. It teaches her that you're not a man who negotiates with chaos. So here's the final truth you need to carry with you. If you want her to love you, let her feel your strength, not your neediness. If you want her to respect you, let her know she's not your God. And if you want her to stay, never let her feel like you've placed her above your mission. She will only ever fully respect the man who makes her feel like she could lose him, not to another woman, but to something greater, a higher purpose, a bigger vision, a life that moves forward regardless of who's walking beside it. That's the man who wins. That's the man who keeps her. That's the man who earns devotion that doesn't fade. If you want her respect for the long haul, you need to make peace with this reality. The tests never stop. They're not evil. They're not manipulation. They're biological, hardwired into how she evaluates masculine energy. And the only way to pass them isn't to resent them or fight them. It's to expect them. Stay cool when she escalates. Stay centered when she withdraws. Stay detached from the outcome when she threatens consequences. Because when she finally sees that her chaos doesn't move you, that her storms don't shake your foundation, only then will she truly surrender to your strength. And when she does, the relationship becomes effortless. Not because she stopped testing, but because you stopped failing. So remember this. A woman will love many men in her lifetime. She'll feel attraction, connection, even deep affection for different people at different times. But she will only truly respect the man who doesn't need her. The one who loves her without worshipping her, who desires her without placing her above himself, who can walk away with his life intact if she ever crosses the line, the one who never trades his mission for a moment of her comfort. That man becomes her standard, her addiction, her anchor. He doesn't have to demand respect. He commands it through how he lives. So stop trying to be the perfect boyfriend who gives everything. Start being the real man who knows his own worth. Build before you, bond, lead before you love. Never seek permission to be exactly who you are, because in the end, it's not the flowers or the poems or the endless reassurances that make her stay. It's the energy of a man who refuses to let her become his god. That man gets her respect, her admiration, and yes, her obsession. Be that man, not the one who pleases at the cost of his soul. Be the one she knows she can never shake because you were never chasing in the first place. That's the man women respect. That's the man women stay devoted to. And that's exactly the man you were built to become.